Hello, my name is Evan Olson, and I am the executive producer for tonight's show, Unseen Bulldogs.
And I'm Kelsey Morgan. I'm the producer for tonight's show. Our crew has been working so hard all week. We filmed all day Saturday inside the McCarthey Athletic Center as the Zags got ready to take on BYU. So tonight you'll get to see what we found behind the scenes. Rachel Carlson has the show.
Hello, and thanks for tuning in on this fine Wednesday night. My name is Rachel Carlson, and I am so excited for our show tonight, Unseen Bulldogs, where our GUTV crew is going to take you inside the lives of the people who prepare the McCarthey Athletic Center for game day. We're all so proud of how our Zags basketball teams killed it out on the court all season long, but they surely wouldn't have been able to do so without lots of help. There are hundreds of people who work hard behind the scenes to make sure that all fans can focus on what really matters, the basketball. Tonight we will give you an exclusive look at how the chefs prepare the food, how the McCarthey staff sets up for thousands of fans, and how ESPN broadcasts the games to viewers like you. One team that shows up for every game is the Sodexo crew, the people behind the food of the McCarthey Athletic Center, and they cater for all Gonzaga athletic events, not just basketball games, but also baseball, soccer, volleyball, and even summer camps. As well as feeding the fans, Sodexo feeds the players too. Brandon Turner headed down into McCarthey's basement kitchens and inside the office of McCarthey's general manager to find out more.
You may not always think about it, but what exactly goes into preparing the food here that everybody eats during the basketball games? The kitchen crew gets here 12 hours before every game to prepare for the 6,000 fans that pack the McCarthey every game day. We caught up with the Sodexo crew down in the basement to see what was going on during their day. Let's go!
It's a continual process, you know. Hopefully everything's already organized, so at this point it's just a matter of production. Well, we have 6 stands and 4 portables. So with that you can get carb sandwiches, you can get burgers, you can get baked potatoes, and if you're a GU student, apparently an unending supply of popcorn chicken, because that's the big seller on the north side. The morning's a little quieter, it's where I can get some paperwork done, things like that. And right now you come in the morning, I have team members already working on getting turkeys and things like that going. Pre-game meals is 4 hours prior. Once that hits, everything is moving. And so everything today will happen at 5:30, for example, for a 7 o'clock game. So it's just a lot of walking back and forth the kitchen, got a radio, things are happening, you gotta go up and check in on the suites and running product, whatever needs to be done. By the end of the day, some days I'll have 25,000 steps. Most every game I'll have close to 25,000 steps, anywhere from 12 to 18 miles. It's more just checking on things. I like to thank the groups for coming in because they're really the backbone of what makes this thing work. And so it's parents, it's moms and dads, it's high school students. So, for example, last week it was a 1 o'clock game, which is a weird start. We had people at 3 a.m. All the production, all the food for McCarthey Arena, all the catering, everything comes out of that one small kitchen. I have a staff of 49. I have a culinary team comprising of about 8 people, concessions team of about 6, and then you have about 80 concession volunteers up in the stands as well. It's a great group of people. I can't do it without them. They really do the work. Well, it's a lot of pre-planning. We meet once a week, as a team. I have a great team. They've been here a little while, so we have a good workflow going. But you're right, there's some days we'll have 4 games in 6 days. And so a lot of times you have to kind of work on the fly because you might use up 2 games worth of product in 1 game. Safety is a big part of what we do, so we have slip-resistant shoes because we're in a lot of conditions, particularly in the kitchen. And so we all have to wear them. So I go through, you can see I have a pile of them here. I go through shoes like every 3 months. The biggest change is women's basketball attendance. Our fan base here is 12th in the country, all schools. For women's games, it's baked potato. The women's fans are very it's an older demographic, if you've ever been to one, and so they know what they want. They come in, they go to the same place every time, they want the same thing. I mean, they let you know if something isn't right, and they also let you know when they do like it.
Next, we headed into the heart of the kitchen, where we found John Spencer, the head chef at McCarthey.
Right, so basically right now we're just starting to get into the game day actual production for the concession stands up top. Team meal, media meal, sweets. In the oven right now we got going. I do about 220 pounds of top round and about 160 pounds of turkey for the carvery stand upstairs. And we got some baked potatoes ready to fire for that. And over here, Reese's got a lot of her sweets prepped out. So it'd be fruit trays and cheese trays and you name it, burgers, whatever the client orders. Over there we got some bread proofing that we're gonna make some hot dog buns out of. In the cold storage cooler, you'll just kind of see of just a bunch of prep that we got going. This is all for the Hair Club Social, for the Zeg dog stand, our gourmet dog stand. We got some smoked chicken apple there. Well, down here, like if you compare to other kitchens on campus, we are a very small, tight-knit group. I mean, we work very well together. We have to be able to get what we do done. This kitchen's designed very well. You're able to, put a lot of people in here and still be able to work efficiently, just with being able to move all the way around it. Number one down here is safety and sanitation. Nothing happens in this kitchen unless the first two are covered. So doors open at 5:30 today. So all food will be up at 5 p.m. So they'll start working on prepping, firing, getting their food ready for those stands. The Hair Club Social will have set up the displays, everything out by 5, doors open there at 5:30. During basketball season, I put in about 80 hours a week down here, 70, 80 hours a week. It's usually 6 days or so.
Funny because we're in an athletic facility based on teams, and our team's the same way, built the same way. If everybody's producing like they should, basically have a victory, right? Just like in sports. So there's a lot of parallels that go along with it.
As you can see, Mike, John, and the rest of the crew put in hours of hard work to make sure the McCarthey is ready to feed the masses on game day. It's something that not all the students and fans get to see, but we all definitely appreciate. Brandon Turner, GUTV.
Mike also told us that it's a little easier to plan and balance the women's basketball team's diet than it is for the men. Those boys don't like to eat their veggies, but girls are tougher. Now that we've seen how the food is prepared, let's check in with Cohen Jenkins in our tweet suite to find out how the students prepare. He also has the lowdown on this week's promotion. How can viewers win this week, Cohen?
Well, we do have a promotion this week with the Zeg Kennel Club, and that's going to be for who had the best tent during Tent City. Now, Tent City is the thing that GU does to get their students tickets to the games. Because the games are so competitive to get into, and there's only about 1,200 possible seats for students, GU has to find a way to get the most dedicated students to the games. So what they do is they do a little thing called Tent City. Students race to get a number, and then that number is the number of their tent. During a 24-hour period before the game, those students have to stay on Herrick Quad in an enclosed area in those tents to make sure they get their seats reserved. Now, this process is pretty hectic, and we wanted to find out a little bit more, so we sent our own Samantha Takizawa in for a little package we like to call Sam vs. Wild. Let's see what Sam found.
So, why aren't you sleeping in the tent tonight?
Why am I not?
And why are you not sleeping in the tent?
Because we have our tent covered, but I'm ready to take that morning shift though.
You're not spending the night, Nikki.
No.
Why are you not spending the night?
Because it's cold out here.
Well, that's tough, Sam. I'm sorry no one wants to sleep in the tent with you, but if it makes you feel any better, no one loves me either. Now on to our promotion. This week, the Zeg Kennel Club has sponsored a tent promotion where you send in your best pictures of your tent, and the winner will get a $10 gift certificate to Starbucks. So we'll see the winner for that coming up later. Right now, we're going to head to break. You're watching Unseen Bulldogs here on GUTV.
My name is Caleb Dawson, and this is the GSBA Minute. Today we get to celebrate a big part of the student experience, something that attracts so many of us to Gonzaga and puts Gonzaga on the map nationwide. It's what happens here in the basketball court in the McCarthey Athletic Center for both our men and our women's team, who are both leading our WCC conference. We're so proud of them, and we know that what happens in there isn't just because of them. And it's not just the coaches, it's so much bigger than basketball. It's our whole community rallying together. Part of that is the people who are off stage and behind the scenes, who help coordinate things and make sure the timing is perfect. I mean, at times they have to coordinate that with national television, and that's not easy. I know that because I'm on Bomb Squad. Each time that we go to the kennel, we get there early, and there's an usher there to greet us. They bring us backstage, they give us time to warm up, and then they also escort us to be on deck. They help set up our music. So today we want to say thank you for ushering, thank you for being our technicians, thank you for being behind the scenes and making sure that we can have the best student experience possible. Go Zags!
Welcome back to our Unseen Bulldogs special here on GUTV, where we're showing you all the hard work that goes into preparing the McCarthey Athletic Center for a Gonzaga game day. We here on Gonzaga's campus may sometimes take for granted the impressive stadium we get to watch our Zags in. Creation of the McCarthey Athletic Center was a $25 million project sponsored by the McCarthey brothers. Phil and Tom McCarthey, both Gonzaga graduates, pledged their support to Gonzaga athletics after the Zags made their epic Elite Eight run in 1999. Thanks to the McCarthey brothers, the Zags have been at home in the MAC for 12 years now. But have you ever wondered what all goes into preparing McCarthey for a game day? Danny Palumba got an inside look at what has to be done in order to be ready to host thousands of fans.
On Gonzaga's campus, there are two sacred places: St. Aloysius Church and the McCarthey Athletic Center. For many Gonzaga alums, the Martin Center was the home court for the Zags basketball teams. But after 2004, the Martin Center was retired as the Kennel moved to their new home in the McCarthey Athletic Center. Housing almost 6,000 fans per game, the McCarthey staff has lots to do behind the scenes to prepare for each one.
We really start preparing for a game day probably as soon as the previous game ends, because we've got a whole list of stuff that happened during the game and we like to get it as soon as possible while it's fresh in our minds. of things we need to change, things we need to update, and then also looking ahead. We always want to look ahead and anticipate what's coming the next day.
Rob, along with the staff of 120 people, work hard to make sure that there is nothing to distract fans from having a truly fun Gonzaga experience.
Between concessions, parking, crowd management, and just my staff in general. So yeah, it takes a small village for sure to make it happen. We field requests all day and try to fulfill as many of them as we can. Actually, everybody's been really receptive with that. It's very impactful for our staff and day-to-day operations and everything that we've got going on. Trying to accommodate as many things of, whether we've got deliveries, food deliveries, and we're trying to build a building in the loading dock, and it just makes traffic flow and everything that much harder. If somebody sees me or my staff during an event, it usually means something went wrong. Something's not right, or we have to manage something, whether it be an issue in the crowd, or we've had shot clocks go blank in the middle of a game. We've had, the scoreboard goes out. I'd hate to be at some of these places where, like down in Pepperdine, I think it was on Thursday, and the lights went out in the middle of the game. So stuff like that. That's when we kind of kick in, and you'll see us a lot. But if we can kind of fly under the radar and stay in the shadows and nobody sees us, it's perfect. That means everything went well.
When talking to Rob, it is clear that the people who make the games enjoyable have the same amount of passion as the students in the kennel.
To be honest with you, it's never the same. Every day is different. Every day I show up and somebody has something that they need, and if I can help them accomplish that need, it's great. Favorite place in this building? I would say probably out on the floor. I mean, I've had a lot of good memories in 17 years. Well, I shouldn't say that, 14 years of this building, but just a lot of good memories in this building, a lot of good memories on that floor. We won a lot of games, and it's been fun, a lot of fun.
Although the regular season may be over, we know that there are many more memories and wins to come in the McCarthey Athletic Center.
Well, I for one had no idea how so much went into getting the kennel ready for all of us fans. Usually if I'm outside tenting, I'm just happy to get inside in the warmth because it is intense outside. Now we are going to head back to our tweet suite with Cohen Jenkins, who has some more information about our upcoming shows. Cohen?
Yes, coming up in the GUTV season, we have GUTV's Bracketology. Starting next week, that'll be the first of our 4-part series, which is also a fundraiser for our program. With the link that's right above your video or the link that's right on the screen, you can go to the commerce.cashnet link and enter in our Bracketology tournament in one of 4 categories: current students, former students, alumni, parents, and then also there's a pet division this year, which is pretty crazy. Bring in your cats, dogs, turtles, cows, whatever you got. Enter in, give a donation to our program. Anything would be appreciated. We're going to have a great 4-part series that'll let you know how the bracket's going, how the Zags are doing, and other information about GUTV's program. But right now we're going to go to break. Don't forget to stay tuned for the winner of the promotion. Coming up, that $10 Starbucks gift certificate is on the line. You're watching GUTV.
My minute for mental health. How does faith connect with mental health? Well, God has given us a wonderful gift called free will. We are able to choose how we respond to various situations. Many stressful situations get to us, including major setbacks, hurt feelings, severe disappointments. Because we have free will, we can say stop, don't respond yet, but invite the Holy Spirit into our thoughts and into our hearts so that we can be enabled to respond in a healthy way. When we allow that time, we do maintain mental health and good decisions.
Welcome back. Thanks for being with us tonight as we look behind the scenes at the McCarthey Athletic Center. ESPN, or ESPN as the staff calls it, is a household name. You know the network. You see their logo on your screen when you sit down to watch SportsCenter, 30 for 30, or Monday Night Football. You might even know a few ESPN names like Jay Billis of ESPN Gameday or Dick Vitalis' color commentary of primetime basketball games. ESPN is where you can catch the WCC tournament starting tomorrow. But there are many people behind the scenes, and they help produce what you see on the screen. The unsung heroes of sports television, the crew members. GUTV's Angelos and Giacomo went behind the kennel to find out more about the people of ESPN who bring you the games.
When I'm talking about ESPN and McCarthey Athletic Center, I think of the MAC as a mothership. Before ESPN arrives early in the morning, there is nothing in McCarthey. No cameras, no cables, and no people. And ESPN needs to make that camera ready by game time. And for producer Evan Schloff, this is not an easy task.
A lot goes into it. I mean, if you just go around here and see everyone set up, you get here 6.5 hours early. You got to set up the truck. You got to have all your storylines. Cameras got to set up. Technical director's got to be ready, tape's got to be ready, graphics have to be ready, and we would love to come in. Everyone thinks you just come in and boom, you do a game. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. It takes a lot of time and effort, and a lot of preparing for this, to get a game on the air.
Also part of the crew, Mike Lavelle knows the challenge of a setup.
But you always have to build in the extra time for making sure things work. Audio takes them a little more time. They have to run a lot of mics. They're running mics on both sides of the court. So audio really has to work probably harder than we do, but we won't tell them that.
All that hard work comes down to one thing.
The most important thing to me is the coverage, first of all. I want to make sure that you guys at home see everything, get to see everything, hear everything. We don't miss anything. That's first and foremost. And then as far as being different, I want to try and bring an aspect of whether it be a graphic or video or something that no one has seen.
We've got 5 manned cameras today and a beauty cam up high for just a beauty for graphics. A lot of times we'll put a small GoPro or something on a basket for slam cam. That gets some good looks.
I'm in the little truck outside in the cold, dark cold with a lot of monitors. And basically I'm watching all the monitors and cameras of what they're shooting and the monitors of what's coming in and best angles of a replay or maybe something we missed. Maybe there was a hard foul, maybe Few's upset about a call on the sidelines that nobody sees it on air, but he's stomping his feet. Someone got an elbow underneath, the refs missed it. All kinds of things.
But when Evan is in the truck, other crew members may sense a change in the kind of work they do.
I don't do graphics, I just edit. And now, we shoot, you direct, you produce. One of the roles, or a position at ESPN now for like a decade is Predator. So you're a producer, editor. You produce all your own stuff for SportsCenter. So you go in, you request all the clips you want from the show, and you're producing the highlights and the segments. Everything just keeps getting smaller and you get more work.
I mean, for the most part, though, I like to let the game happen. Let the game dictate what's going to happen, and then you react to it. To force things into the game of what you want to do sometimes will distract and take away from the game. I mean, got a great storyline coming in. So, I mean, obviously most people watching this want to see Gonzaga run the table. And I think that's something that not many teams have done.
You can get tumbled over on the basket, especially NBA. because you guys are packed in, you only have that much room, there's nowhere to go if someone's coming at you. At least here we're on wheels and we can kind of slide out of the way sometimes. But yeah, you get run over.
Everybody loves sports that's working here, and it's just something to be a part of, something that is live and you can't predict. You could take guesses, but you can't predict it, and that's what makes it exciting.
The kennel's awesome. They make our job easy. You point a camera and they just go crazy. You don't have to say anything. They know what they're doing. And what's sad though is like a couple years ago they had the St. Mary's game here during Christmas break. So no students. So you point a camera at the older fans and they say, oh, don't shoot me, or go Gonzaga. It's not as much fun. So we love it when the kids are here. It's a kick.
It's been amazing following ESPN around this whole day and seeing how much work and how much effort goes into just setting up one Gonzaga game. But it's all worth it for that courtside seat, isn't it? Thank you very much. Angelo San Giacomo, GUTV.
Well, it's clear that those guys work really hard to make sure that all of us fans get to see our Zags, even when we can't make it to McCarthey, and we sure do appreciate it. All right, everyone, it's now time to see which viewer won the coveted Starbucks gift card. Cohen, we're all waiting to see which tent was picked.
Yeah, well, the promotion's coming up, but first we do have another look at Sam versus Wild. It got pretty crazy on Friday night as Tent City actually ended up getting shut down at 10 o'clock and resumed the following morning. Samantha Takizawa chronicled all the events that happened during the night.
It's 7 o'clock, and apparently there's a DJ, but the DJ's on the other side. That's a good thing. We've resorted to playing some games while the group next to us continues to be loud and obnoxious. It's only 7 at night. There are too many things happening at once and I can't handle this. I'm trying to eat my pasta and I'm hearing like the group next to us has played the same song twice. And we got hit by a football earlier today. Welcome to Tent City! Some of them super interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty tough out there, Sam. As someone who slept in the cold before, I've only waited for the sweet embrace of death. Now, coming up, here's our promotion. We asked Zag Kennel Club to send in their best pictures of tents, and we're going to pick the winner. First up, we have tent number 8, showing that you can get business done. He's got the little cell phone and laptop action. He's still getting some work done in Tent City. Next up, we have Rourke Mackey, and he's doing the power squat in front of his tent. He's out there in 145, way at the back, but he's doing a pretty impressive job. Then we have tent number 16. These tenters appear to have lost all their hands and have resorted to putting various foam devices over them to cover up for that. But now, and you've been waiting for it, here's the winner. It's tent number 147. That's Erica Harper and friends, looking all good there in tent 147. Curled up. I got to respect the fact that they're at almost the back of the line. There's about 160 tents, and they're still out there doing their thing. All right, you won the $10 Starbucks gift card, courtesy of Kennel Club. And here we go, back with Rachel to wrap the show up. Rachel?
Thank you so much for joining us here on Unseen Zags on GUTV. I'm Rachel Carlson. Have a good night, and go Zags.